Hey, 6'4" Owl parents, Mr. Hagedorn here with our weekly update. Next week, just a normal 5-day week. In Mass 6 Plus next week, we are moving on from ratios finally. We're all done with ratios and percents. We are going to start our geometry unit. So we're going to start talking about finding the area of rectangles and then using that to find the areas of triangles and some parallelograms. And then we'll move on to surface area the following week and volume a little bit. All right. Math 6 next week. We are finishing up the first half of our Unit 3. So we're still talking about measurement conversion and unit rates. We're going to have a study guide Monday and Tuesday. That's going to be due Wednesday. Wednesday, we will also have our Unit 3 quiz number 1. And then Thursday, Friday, we're going to start the second half of Unit 3. We're going to start talking about percentages, and we will be doing that until the end of quarter 1. Have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday.
It's a long transition. I went the long way.
Sorry, I went the long way. Two different hats. First one, ELA. Tonight's homework, if you can see on the screen, because that's our daily homework slide, is read chapter 16. And then the rest, next week, we're going to be reading chapters 17 through 19. So Lightning Thief, by the end of the week next week, will be through chapter 19. We're going to read a new myth based on Prometheus. We're going to be talking about illusions in Percy Jackson. Illusions are reference backs to different, mythological creatures or, different stories, and how Rick Riordan does an excellent job of using references to older myths and characters. So if you know the stories of these, you get to understand them better in The Lightning Thief. So we're going to make some connections with the myth of Prometheus. We're going to be looking at some unfamiliar vocab like in vain and defied and wrath. And then we're going to look at that word theme again. We worked on it a little bit this week. We're going to get a little bit deeper into it next week. We're going to look into the theme of Prometheus. And we're going to be connecting Prometheus with the nonfiction text that we read this week, which was the key elements of mythology. And we're going to be putting those two pieces together to write a mini analytical essay. So we're going to be working on a mini analytical essay on Wednesday and Thursday, and we're going to be finishing that by Friday. We're going to do a graphic organizer. We're going to do kind of like a pre-write, and then we're going to have a final write. And then we're going to have a reading check on Friday on chapters 16 through 18. And then we'll have the mini essay. So we'll have 2 grades next week, that mini essay and that reading check. Now, my other hat, the one I teach more of, is science. And we are going to finish Matter 2 next week. So Matter 2 is all about solids, liquids, and gases. It's kind of a quick little unit because there's so much experience with the students already. They've been doing solids, liquids, and gases since kindergarten, literally. And we did stations this week. We're going to do a station summary activity on Monday. We're going to do a matter reading on Tuesday, and then we're going to look at what is shaving cream. Shaving cream is a funny little substance, and we're going to figure out, is it a solid, liquid, or gas? And then we're going to have a matter 2 check-in on Canvas that will look at how well we learn the content, and we're going to move on to our final set of matter content, properties of matter on Friday, which will lead us all the way through until we track out in, I think it's 17 days from now, maybe 16, maybe 15. I think it's 15. Let's hope for 15. 15. Beautiful. All right. Have a wonderful weekend. Hopefully it doesn't storm, but my grass really needs it.
All right, here we go. A little social studies for you. Last week we talked about the fact that we would be doing these Clay Nation projects where the kids build these clay models. You can kind of see my clay model here of an example based off of these larger models. This is my kind of cheap knockoff of the very nice model. We have a very nice, really expensive model that Track 3 is using right now. This is the one we found that's it's very similar, but it's a very cheap knockoff. But we were using it today and yesterday to talk a little bit about how the hydrosphere, water, and the lithosphere or geosphere kind of interact and what happens when water hits the land. So on Monday, we are going to get the clay to the kids. So they're going to get a foam plate that they build on top of, and then we're going to give them, or I'm probably going to do it because otherwise it'll be a big gigantic mess. I'm going to come by with the syringe of water, and I'm going to pour water onto their models so that they can kind of see what happens to the water, what it does as it's running down, and where it pools and where it doesn't pool, and how it kind of moves over the top of these models, these clay models. When we're done with that project, we will be starting to talk a little bit about geographic modifications, what humans do to make it a little easier to live in special environments, like in the mountains, how you build versus what you would do to make land a little bit like steps, or what you would do if you lived by the water to make it a little easier to live there or modify the environment. We'll talk a little bit about that next week as we start getting into the agricultural revolution and people getting into civilization. We have one fun activity that's coming in the future where we're going to be outside trying to survive, looking for food, water, and shelter like our early friends did. So that'll be a fun project that we're working on in the next little while. So that's what we're doing in social studies. If you have any questions, please let us know. If not, have a lovely weekend.